Hey y'all, let's make a tier list of Zelda games. There are 19 games, mainline Zelda games, not including HD remakes, ports, anything. Only the original is included in this. And the way I will make this tier list is that I'm gonna look at it as my personal favorite. Okay, let's get started. Link to the Past. I remember playing it at the dawn. I liked it at dawn. Like the one I remembered really well was the Master Sword cutscene when it started. Like the music was pretty flashy. I liked it. Going to the Dark World was interesting to be. Also, it actually is like the kind of game that shouldn't be forgotten because Link to the Past acts as a godfather for Ocarina of Time. Without Link to the Past, there probably wouldn't be Ocarina of Time. So Link to the Past, I'm putting it on SNA. Triforce Heroes, I'm gonna be honest, I never played it. I would have liked to play it when it was released. I never got a chance though. It's also a handheld Zelda game, and handheld Zelda games are something I never really got to play, unfortunately. Actually, that is not true. I have got to play many handheld Zelda games. That's why I put it on no opinion. The first The Legend of Zelda game is a classic. I remember having difficulty with the second quest. I never actually got to beat it. I never found more than 2 dungeons actually in a second quest. I beat it though. I did beat it. Pretty hard for, of course, old school Zelda game. Not my cup of tea though when it comes to Zelda games. War Sports Adventures. I would love to play this. I haven't played it, unfortunately. I've tried it in a multiplayer. However, that's not enough for me to tell about the game. That's why I have to put it on no opinion as well. A Link Between Worlds. I have it. I've played it. I've never 100%ed it. It wasn't like... It was exactly like A Link to the Past to me, but changed around a little bit. Many dungeons were completely different, of course. Music was pretty nice though. Dungeons, what I kind of liked about the Link Between Worlds was that you can do Dark World or Lorule World dungeons out of order. Like, you can just do them out of order. You can do the Thief dungeon first, the Dark Temple or whatever was like second to last or something, I don't even know. It was really weird route I did. However, compared to the Link to the Past, it is definitely on a B tier for me. Link's Awakening is actually one of my favorite games, especially the remake. The original is great, but the remake was even better for me. I love the remake, which is one of the reasons that's one of my favorite Zelda games. I used to get really stuck in the Link's Awakening, but I was so hyped as a kid when I got further. I remember I got to the 4th dungeon or to the desert area in a Link's Awakening after waking Warlus. I was so excited to get to the next dungeon after I found that key there. And I was even more excited to beat the game even because I got stuck to try to get the key to the Eagle's Tower. I couldn't figure out how to do it. That's why it's definitely on an S tier for me. Thanks to the remake making me love the game more. Spirit Tracks, the DS Zelda game, sequel to Phantom Hourglass. I have never played it, but I have it on Wii U. I've heard the soundtrack is great though. Minish Cap, I can't remember how many dungeons it has. I played it on emulator, unfortunately. And it wasn't like one of my favorites either. It was actually one of the weakest Zeldas for me. I can't remember much from it. I like nothing that good or bad either. Twilight Princess. This might be really hard for me to decide, but it's either my favorite game or it's my second favorite game. When we are done with all the games, I will decide what is my favorite Zelda game, okay? Breath of the Wild. Definitely an S tier for me. I can't say is it S+, not yet. The thing about Breath of the Wild though, I haven't replayed it for a while. I played it a ton when it was released. I liked how the world was completely open. You can just go anywhere you want. You can progress the story however you want, if you want to, or you can just beat the game right away, even if you don't care beat the divine beasts. One of the problems with Breath of the Wild for me was that it felt too empty in many places, but that's kinda the story of the game. It's after the life of Calamity Ganon destroying Hyrule, so I guess I understand that. But the Hyrule field, for example, it was completely empty, but I guess that's what makes it really breathtaking. I'm putting it on a S tier, behind Twilight Princess. Oracle of Seasons. To be fair, I'm gonna put Oracle of Ages and Seasons together on the same tier. Seasons and Ages, I'm talking them at the same time. The thing about Ages, or Seasons rather, I never played through the game normally. I actually speedrun it only. What I really loved about Seasons and Ages when I played through them, or speedrun them, the items were quite unique. I like the ending credits. It's pretty good. It's so great. Dungeons, I love puzzles, so these games had really great puzzles. I remember Ages had the tiles. You have to go through all the tiles. So after you have gone through all the tiles, you get a small key. I usually like those kind of puzzles. It's really charming, and I like them. I'm gonna put them both on a B tier. Phantom Hourglass. You love the dungeon, Ocean King Temple, was it? I liked it. I understand that going to that dungeon 10 million times is dumb, but it has its reason though. I like that there's a mystery in it. The dungeon just goes deeper and deeper underground, and there's more mystery to solve, like you get the new G-charts to explore more of the overworld. I played it on a Wii U, by the way, so that one puzzle to get the G-shard, to close the Wii U or make it to the sleep mode, because you had to close the DS to get that one G-shard icon or whatever. That was dumb on Wii U. I actually spent like half an hour or more trying to figure out that, and I just did it by accident. As a game, I did like it. It just felt like a The Wind Waker to me. Not too many islands to explore though. I do remember the DS island. There was a DS island, that was funny. Music, pretty okay. It's a great game, for sure. I would put it on A. I'm gonna put it on A. Okay. The Adventure of Link, the sequel to the first Legend of Zelda. This is probably for many people's favorite, or many people's most hated Zelda game. But for me personally, I've spent more time playing this than I played the original. For that reason, I'm putting it on a and S tier. It's behind the Link's Awakening. That's as much as I can tell. I like the difficulty. It was hard, punishing. I remember getting to the palace, the very last dungeon where you have to go to beat the game. I remember getting there without being in the 7th dungeon, or was it 6th dungeon with that dragon? I never knew about that dungeon until my brother showed me that it's there. There is this dungeon. And there's not really like any hints to tell you that you can go here and do this, right? Maybe there were, but I didn't understand English when I played the game, so it was even harder for me to play the game. Music is, of course, music for these games, it's lacking, of course. The Wind Waker. I like the shell shading, I think it is. The cartoonish style. It was something new for them to try out after Majora's Mask, for sure. For me, it's the weakest 3D Zelda game. I don't say it is a C tier though. But the problem, I think, was its lack in dungeons. There's only 5 of them. Apparently, when I was reading some Google, thanks to Google information maybe, or maybe some Twitch chat was selling that. They apparently had ideas to include 2 more dungeons because of Fire and Ice Arrow. Those 2 islands would have been dungeons, but they probably scratched that idea because they were running out of time, so they included Triforce pieces. That really threw me off. Just threw me off that we had to get those pieces. I didn't know where to find them exactly. And all the Triforce shards, you had to find them. So you can find the pieces too. That's like the biggest minus for me why I don't like Wind Waker too much. Ocarina of Time. It used to be one of my favorite Zelda games, but it's started to like go down a little bit. Yeah, it's I feel like it's in a top 5, but barely in a top 5, I would say. Lots of dungeons though. Child dungeons to beat before you go adult. Then you have lots of adult dungeons. It was 5 though, but still like. You have a couple of small dungeons too. Bottom of the Well. An Ice Cavern to go through. Great final fight. It was like, that was still like the only first time we see Ganondorf to transform to Ganon. One of the first times actually. Okay, Skyward Sword. I used to dislike Skyward Sword, but after replaying HD remake, remaster, whatever you call it, port, the quality of life changes. Maybe replaying it again and refreshing my memory what this game had just made me like the game actually. It looks gorgeous in 60 FPS and 1080p. I do like how they put it. Someone has in a chat when I was playing said it's like, think about it as an arc. Arc 1, Arc 2, Arc 3 stories, you know. It has a great story, by the way. How the Master Sword became like that and Triforce pieces, how to bind that. Playing it again just really refreshed me to like the game more. It used to be my weakest Zelda game, but now it's up here. The characters are fun, says in a chat. Yeah, Cruz is funny character. Everyone loves Cruz. Everyone remembers Cruz because, you know, Cruz. Okay, Majora's Mask, I even explained like how it is competing with the Ocarina of Time, being better than Ocarina of Time. It is ahead of Ocarina of Time solely because of how much the game has like to offer as a side quest. 4 dungeons, sure, but I put it above Ocarina of Time. Twilight Princess I've played the most in the past years. Skyward Sword I played because of the HD again. It used to be in a B tier for me, but now it's in a A tier, S tier. Breath of the Wild, the most anticipated Zelda game. I don't think that there's nothing to hate about the game. Of course, every game has its downsides. And still after these years, Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game of all time. Why do I think Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game? Because I like the art style the most. Quite memorable characters, lots of great and cool dungeons, and I think Midna is the best companion Link has ever had in any Zelda game. This is my tier list of mainline Zelda games. I hope I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.